Hello my dear students, welcome to the MS Science Academy. Myself Meenu Srivastav, and today we are going to discuss about the human cell structure. As I have already told that in this channel, currently we are running two subjects. First is the biochemistry and second is the anatomy physio. And both subjects are very much important in the aspect of the BSc, in the aspect of the nursing and in the aspect of the B Pharma and other paramedical sciences. Okay, so you don't worry, we will complete so many syllabuses, but before going for all this, we are starting these two syllabus, that is the anatomy physio and biochemistry. Okay, now first of all we want to discuss about the human cell structure. As we know, human cell is the smallest and the functional unit of the life. Smallest and the functional unit of the life. Now, we will discuss about the basic structure of cell, and after that we will discuss about the each and every structure one by one. Okay, so here the cell, as we know that the structure of the cell, the outer membrane of the cell, that is the cell membrane. Okay, the cell membrane is the outermost surrounding layer of the cell, and the liquid part is known as the cytoplasm. The liquid part is known as the cytoplasm, and the cell center, or we can say the main current, or we can say the main controlling authority organ, that is the nucleus. The main authority organ, that is the nucleus. In the nucleus, the liquid part which is the present is known as the nucleoplasm. The liquid part is known as the nucleoplasm, and in the bio language, the plasma word represent the liquid part. Okay, that if the liquid part present in the cell, that is the cytoplasm. Liquid part present in the nucleus, that is the nucleoplasm. And in the nucleus, one surrounding round structure is known as the nucleolus or nucleolus. Okay, and the chromatin network thread-like structure is present, which are very much essential for the gene. Okay, very much essential for the characters. Okay, so it is the chromosome. Here the complete nucleus structure is there, and the membrane which is surrounded the nucleus, that is the nuclear membrane. Okay, so here the other cell organelles which are very much important, these are the mitochondria. These are the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell. Then the smallest structure, these are the ribosomes, and the enzyme containing bodies are known as the lysosomes. Each and every cell organelle we will discuss in very detailed manner, so you don't worry about it. So now here only we are just giving the outline. Okay, lysosomes and the ribosomes, lysosome, mitochondria, and the endoplasmic reticulum part. Endoplasmic reticulum part, and endoplasmic reticulum I am just writing in the short form ER. And the other membrane structure is present, this is known as the Golgi body or Golgi apparatus. Okay, and the other fibers like structure which are known as the cytoskeleton. Okay, so this is the basic structure of the cell. Now the cell is the outermost membrane, that is the plasma membrane, or we can say cytoplasmic membrane, and the inner liquid part is present, that is the cytoplasm. Nucleus is the center part, and the other structures we will discuss. First is the plasma membrane. The plasma membrane is also known as the cytoplasmic membrane. The cytoplasmic membrane is known as as we already told that the plasma membrane is also known as the cytoplasmic membrane, and it is made up of the mainly three structures, that is the lipid, second is the carbohydrate, and third is the protein. Lipid is mainly present in the three forms. First is the, here I have written here, lipid is a three type: phospholipid, cholesterol and the glycolipid. Phospholipid is present in the 75%, means the lipid which is mainly present, that is the phospholipid, and the cholesterol is the 20% and the glycolipid is the 5%. Here the other structure, now the lipid we can show here, as you can see in this diagram, that lipid is shows in just head and tail structure. So here the lipid has the head and the tail structure. The head structure is the polar part and the tail structure is the non-polar part. Okay, so here the head is composed with the phosphate groups and the tail structure is composed with the fatty acid chains. Okay, so here the head is the hydrophilic part, or we can say it's a water living part, and the tail is the water hitting, or we can say it's a hydrophobic part. Okay, now the lipid, as the lipid has the polar and the non-polar part both itself, that is why we are saying that is the amphipathic nature. Any compound which is having both part, polar and non-polar part, that compound is known as the amphipathic. So that is why lipid is having the both polar and non-polar part. That is why lipid molecule are known as the amphipathic molecule. Okay, now the second is the protein molecule. As you can show in the as you can see in the diagram, that there are some protein molecules embedded into the lipid molecules. So here two types of the protein molecules are present. First is the integral and second is the peripheral protein. Integral proteins, as you can seen in the diagram, that the integral proteins are very much well embedded in the protein membrane, in the in the lipid membranes, lipid layer, but the peripheral proteins are present superficially. Okay, but both are proteins are very much important, because their proteins act the different types of the function, as we have described here, that these proteins provide the attachment site of the carbohydrate, because the carbohydrates are very much important in the aspect of the immunological identity, because the cell provide particular immunological identity with the help of carbohydrate types. Okay, so as protein provide the attachment sites of these kinds of the carbohydrate. Now second, they act as a receptor, and these proteins act as a receptor, and these proteins act as an enzyme also. Here they act as the channels, they form the channels, particular channels, and the pump, like the sodium potassium pump, and with the help of these channels and pump, the different types of the compounds, different types of the ions can easily go through the cell membrane. Okay, so here the plasma membrane is the main model, that is the fluid mosaic model. The model is the fluid mosaic model, which is given by the Singer and Nicholson. What is represent the fluid mosaic word? The fluid mosaic word, that in the fluid, that just other molecules are present in the mosaic form. Mosaic means they are not completely dissolved or not completely embedded, just they have the flexibility. That is why we can say that the plasma membrane is just like the lipid molecules present as a sea, and that on the sea level different types of the icebergs of proteins are present. So that is why the fluid mosaic model is the well acceptable model of the plasma membrane. Second, as we see that in the liquid part in the cell, that is the cytoplasm, and the liquid part having the two portion. First, the cytosol. Here the different liquid portion is known as the cytosol, which form the 55% of overall cytoplasm, and the cell organelles which are embedded into the cytoplasm form the 45%. What is the composition of the cytoplasm? The composition it is the mainly just formed with the help of water. That is why we are saying that water is a very much important content of our cell. Okay, so here the two main part, that is the inorganic part and the organic compound. Inorganic compound and the organic compound. Here the water is the 70 to 80% part. Different salt, acid, bases is formed the 1 to 3%. Next is the organic compounds. In the organic compounds, protein, lipid, carbohydrate, nucleic acid and enzymes are present. So protein is just carry the 7 to 14%, lipid 1 to 3% and carbohydrate 1 to 2%, whereas the nucleic acid and enzymes are the 1 to 3%. These are the main cytoplasm. The synonym of the cytoplasm is also known as the protoplasm. And the plasma membrane we have discussed. Now we will discuss about the other cell organelle which are very much important in the aspect of the cell structure. चलिए अब हम बात कर लेते हैं अदर सेल ऑर्गेनल्स की. दैट इज द नेक्स्ट, दैट इज द न्यूक्लियस. As we have already stated that the nucleus is the center of the cell and it is the largest cell organelle. Okay, so it is the largest cell organelle and we can say it's the center of the cell. The nucleus is surrounded with the nuclear envelope. Simultaneously, I will draw the structures so you can easily identify the structure. Okay, so nucleus is surrounded with the help of nuclear envelope, and nuclear envelope is bilayered. Bilayered means it's having the outer layer and the inner layer. The outer layer and the inner layer. Okay, so here the nuclear envelope is surrounded with the two layer, outer and the inner layer, and the outer layer is continuous with the endoplasmic reticulum. Suppose that the outer structure, that is the cell, and the nuclear outer membrane is continuous with the endoplasmic reticulum. That is why I have written here the outer membrane is continuous with the endoplasmic reticulum. The nuclear envelope or the nuclear membrane structure is same as the plasma membrane, and as we have already stated that the cytoplasmic membrane is having lipid and the protein structure, and as it has the carbohydrate part also. Okay, so here in each and every membrane in this living world, either it's a nuclear membrane, either it's a mitochondrial membrane, either it's a human membrane, any membrane of the animal cell, especially we can say not animal cell, in any living cell. If the membrane words they are using, it's a plasma membrane, it's a plant cell membrane, it's a nuclear membrane, it's a mitochondrial membrane, all having the same structure. Okay, so by default it's a same structure like protein, lipid and the carbohydrate. Okay, so nuclear membrane is having the same structure as the plasma membrane, and they are having the small openings, and these small openings are known as the nuclear pore. The small opening is known as the nuclear pore. Okay, and here the small spherical body is known as the nucleoli. The small spherical body is present, it's a nucleoli, and these nucleoli is composed with the DNA, RNA and the protein, and the nucleoli is the site of rRNA synthesis. R represent for ribosomal RNA synthesis. Here the liquid part is present, is known as the nucleoplasm. Okay, as we have already stated that the plasma means the liquid word, means the liquid part which is present inside the nucleus is known as the nucleoplasm, and the hereditary unit of is the gene which are arranged along the chromosome. Okay, so here the chromosome is the well arranged structure of the gene, we can say. Okay, so here the chromosome, and on the chromosome gene structures are present, and genes is the hereditary unit. Okay, hereditary units. Okay, so this is the overall nucleus structure. Now the endoplasmic reticulum. As we have already stated that the endoplasmic reticulum is continuous with the nuclear outer membrane, so it is the composed with the, or we can say it's a network of membrane. It's a network of membrane. Here the two types of the endoplasmic reticulum, smooth endoplasmic reticulum and the rough endoplasmic reticulum. I will draw the cell diagram. It's a nucleus, and here the endoplasmic reticulum, which is composed with the membranes, with the flattened membranes are present, and if the ribosomes are present on the structure of the endoplasmic reticulum, then it is known as the RER, means the rough endoplasmic reticulum. It's a rough endoplasmic reticulum, and this is the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Smooth means on when we are observing the cell with the help of microscope, if it's a smooth surface, so that is why it's named as a smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and if it's having the rough surface because of the ribosome, it is known as the rough endoplasmic reticulum. The smooth endoplasmic reticulum is associated with the synthesis of lipid and the steroid hormone, as well as it is also detoxification of the drugs. Okay, what is the detoxification? During the drug metabolism, different toxic products are generated. So, the smooth endoplasmic reticulum detoxify or the neutralize those toxic products. This is known as the detoxification of the drugs. Second is the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Due to the presence of ribosome, it is completely associated with the protein synthesis. Okay, so this is the whole for the endoplasmic reticulum. Next is the Golgi apparatus. I will draw here also. The Golgi apparatus is consist with the stacks of closely folded flattened membranes. Here, the Golgi apparatus is continuously with the folded membranes. Like this membranes are present. Here. Okay. So, it is associated with the endoplasmic reticulum because the Golgi apparatus is helped to pack the proteins which are synthesized by RER. RER means for rough endoplasmic reticulum. So here the closely folded flat membranes are packed the proteins, rough endoplasmic reticulum. So here the Golgi apparatus is packed those proteins which are synthesized by the RER, and just in the form of vesicles just transfer it to the proper site. How it is doing like this? So I will show you that this is the Golgi apparatus, Golgi membrane. So the protein molecules are come here sites. The protein molecules with the help of endoplasmic reticulum come this side, and these protein molecules approach towards these membranes, and after that all in the last membrane of the Golgi apparatus, the membrane is just pinched off, and these materials are packed and just transferred back to the proper site in the form of vesicles. Okay, so this is the main for the Golgi apparatus. Next is the mitochondria. Mitochondria, as we know, that is the powerhouse. Why it is the powerhouse? Because it generates the ATP. ATP represents the energy currency or the energy molecule. ATP full form, that is the adenosine triphosphate, and here it's a mitochondrial structure is the membrane, sausage shape. Sausage shape means like this structure, and it is surrounded by two membranes, outer membrane and inner membrane is just like the folded membranes. Okay, and the membrane structure is same, just keep in your mind the membrane structure is same, protein, lipid and the carbohydrate, that's all. Now the inner membrane, here the inner membrane is just having the folds, and these folds are known as the cristae, and these cristae having the particular particles which are associated with the electron transport chain, or we can say the oxidative phosphorylation, and these particles are known as the F1 particles, or we can say the oxysomes. Okay, so these are the main particles where the ATPs are the generated. So that is why the mitochondria is known as the powerhouse. Next is the ribosome. As we know that the ribosomes are present on the endoplasmic reticulum, same the ribosomes are present on the membrane of the nucleus. Here I have written here, it's found on the outer surface of the nuclear envelope and the endoplasmic reticulum. It is composed with RNA and the protein, and the ribosome is mainly associated with the protein synthesis. Now we will discuss about the lysosomes and the cytoskeleton. The lysosomes is composed with the help of Golgi complex, and the lysosomes is the membrane bound vesicles like this. Okay, so, and the lysosome carry the around 60 kind of the powerful digestive and the hydrolytic enzymes. Generally, the pH of the working pH for these digestive enzymes is the acidic pH. Okay, now the what is the function of the lysosome and enzyme? They digest the wide variety of molecule. They digest the wide variety of molecule, and these molecules can be essential for the digestion of such molecules are very much essential. So they help the nourishment for the cell. And the other function is that they recycle the worn out cell structure, means that those structures which are just outdated, or we can say it's the expire for the cell purpose. So the just lysosome digest them and utilize their essential ingredients which are good for the cell, and just otherwise all the other non-reusable structures are just digest it out. Okay, so such kind this help to recycle the worn out the cell structures, and simultaneously it perform the autophagy. What is the autophagy? Lysosomes can engulf the cell organelle, digest it, and the digested compound return back to the cytosol, and this for the reuse, and this complete function is used known as the autophagy. And as the lysosome digests the cell organelle itself, so that is why sometimes it is known as the suicidal bags. It is known as the suicidal bags also. Okay. Next is the, and we can say it's the structure of the cell, that is the cytoskeleton. Cytoskeleton, generally these are the protein fibers, and they provide the particular shape, and they provide the movement of the cell. Okay, first is the microfilament. The microfilaments are the smallest structure, or we can say the smallest filaments. They provide the support and maintain the cell shape and help in the contraction. Okay, so here the example is the actin. Next is the microtubule. The next structure, that is the microtubule, and these microtubules are comparatively larger as compared to the microfilaments, and they help in the movement of the organelles. Means if any organelle want to move in within the cell, and for that the microtubules help. During the chromosome movement of the chromosome during the cell division, these microtubules help. And the cell extension, now just after a moment we will discuss about the cell extension. So these microtubules help to extend the cells for doing the different types of the function. Now, what is the centrosome? Centrosome is present within the cell near the nucleus. Within the cell, just above the nucleus, one structure is present, is known as the centrosome. This is the centrosome. Okay, so the centrosome is composed with the two structure that is known as the centriole. With the two structure that is known as the centriole, and the centrioles are the small cluster of microtubules. Here the centrioles having the small structures of microtubules. These are the clusters of the microtubules, and these microtubules help in the important role during the cell division, because during the cell division chromosome have to move towards the opposite pole, and during this movement the centrioles help in this movement. Okay, now the next, and this is the last, that is the cell extension. Cell extension means the any cell which is the extend out, any cell which is having the extension or the outer structures is known as the cell extension. First cell extension, that is the microvilli. First cell extension is the microvilli. Microvilli, these kind of the structure which just extending out the cell membrane is known as the microvilli, and it is formed due to the projection of microfilaments. Means the microfilaments are projected outwards, and it forms of the microvilli, and these microvilli help to increase the surface area during just like the absorption of food and during the secretion of any kind of the enzyme. Such microvilli are present to increase the surface area. Okay, second one, the second cell extension, that is the cilia. As in the paramecium, paramecium, if you know about the paramecium, it's the kinds of the protozoa, And the cell extension, it is having the cell, just small cell extension are present, and these extension or hair-like structure are known as the cilia. Cilia are more in number. If any cell contain the cilia are small and more in number, and they help in the movement. Okay. Last one, that is the flagella. Flagella, as you can know the diagram of the sperm, that the sperm is having the tail structure, and its tail structure is just like known as the flagella. So as compared to the cilia, the flagella has the single or a less in number, or it long as compared to the cilia, it's a single and long in the structure, and it's just like a weep-like structure, weep-like projection you can say, and it contains the microtubules, and also the flagella help in the movement. In the sperm, the tail is using for the movement of the sperm. Okay, so that's all for about the cell. I hope you enjoyed my lecture. Any doubt, kindly ask in the comment section. Otherwise, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.